Hello friends, today we are going to discuss about a very essential part of the C programming language or any other programming languages, that is the array. So, what is an array? So, just let me give a brief details on what is an array and how many types of arrays are there, what are they and how they are declared or initialized or like that. So, see array, what is the array? Array definition of array goes in the way that array is a collection of homogeneous data items stored in contiguous memory locations, that is items of the same data type which are stored in contiguous memory locations. Just let me explain a bit about what I am saying, that is an array. Suppose I am taking for the sake of simplicity a one-dimensional array which consists of some memory locations in this manner. Suppose this is an array. An array will be conventionally numbered from 0 to 1, 2, 3, 4. So, suppose this is an array containing 5 cells. So, this is one cell, this is another, this is another, this is another, this is another. So, there are 5 cells or 5 memory locations in which we can store any element of any particular data type. So, if we want to store some integer elements, we have to store all the integer elements over here. If we want to store a group of character elements, so then we cannot just incorporate any sort of elements of the other data types other than the character elements. So, the data types or the data type of the elements stored in these memory locations should be of the same type, that is the homogeneous data elements will be stored over here. Suppose for the sake of simplicity, if I take a character array, so we need to take some values which are always character constants. So, these character constants can be taken from the user or it can be supplied beforehand during the program initialization phase. So, let us take what is a typical declaration of an array. So, let me write this. Suppose I am going to take a character array, CHAR, capital A is the name of the array. Suppose the capital A is the name of the array, it can be any name, any identifier of your choice, that it can be X, Y, Z or ABC, anything. So, I am taking this A to be the name of the array, character is the data type char, suppose this is the dimension written in the square brackets, that is 5. So, this 5, what this 5 means? 5 means that this array contains 5 contiguous memory locations in which we can store some character elements. Say maximum we can store 5 elements. We can store less than that also, but we can definitely not store number of elements which is definitely more than 5. So, we are not going to store number of variables which is greater than 5 in this array, particularly this array which is declared as A5, and we can take a maximum of 5 elements over here. So, let us just explain with some raw data by taking some values over here. Suppose this is an X, this is a Y, this is a Z, this is a, this is a B. So, this collection is of the same data type. See, everything is in characters. All are character constants and these values are stored in this character array. If this array would have been an integer array, so we would have declared in that case like this, int A or suppose int B5. So, what is this int B5? Int B5 means an array containing 5 integer elements stored in contiguous memory locations. What is the contiguous memory locations? Contiguous means nothing but consecutive memory locations, that is memory locations which are placed one after the other and there is no gap in between those memory locations. So, let us write this array 3, 4, 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is the numbering pattern. Conventional pattern, you can also supply other numbers as well, starting from negative numbers or any other higher numbers than 0, but the convention is that we always take the first cell or the first memory location to be the 0th memory location, then the first, then the second, then the third and the fourth and so on. So, if we take some values over here, integer values 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So, these are some values. Suppose this can be a negative value 2, 4, minus 6, 8, minus 6, 8, 10. So, these are 5 integer values placed in 5 contiguous memory locations, that is memory locations which come one after the other without leaving any gap in between. So, this is the concept of a one-dimensional array. Why this is called a one-dimensional array? Array can be of many dimensions, that is one-dimensional, two-dimensional, three-dimensional, or even more than that. Multi-dimensional arrays are also possible, but now we are going to discuss the one-dimensional array at the first instance. So, what is a one-dimensional array? It contains only a single row with multiple columns. It can have only one column, it can have more than one columns as well, but the row should be only one row. Suppose this is an array which is one dimensional in nature. So, the row is only one row, but the columns can be multiple, it can be one or can be multiple. So, there are how many columns? This is the first column, this is the second column, this is the third column, fourth column and fifth column. So, fifth columns, so 5 columns are there and one row is there. So, this is called a row and these are the columns, and columns are numbered in this fashion in the conventional way, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you go by the memory location, say suppose we can take some memory location values also to get us familiar with the memory location positions in this array. So, we are giving this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 as the index of the array. These are the indices of the array. These are some subscripts of the array, that is 0th position means this position, first position means the second position rather, this 2 means the third position and so on. But if we specify this array in this fashion, suppose like this 3, 4, 5 say. So, this is the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 as is discussed earlier, and now we can see that if the base address, that is the address of the first memory location of this array, that is the 0th location in terms of bytes, if we take this as 65536, 65536 is the memory location. So, if this is an integer array, each memory location would contain how many bytes? Maximum 2 bytes, because integer data type takes a maximum of 2 bytes or 16 bits in the memory. So, this 65536 will be the first memory location, then we will have 2 bytes inside it maximum, and then the contiguous memory location, just the consecutive memory location, just after that we get the memory location as 655, not 37 but 38, that is adding 2 to the previous value, and then we will get 65540. So, 65536 followed by 65538 followed by 65540 and so on. In this fashion it will go on, but if it were a character array, then it would have been numbered in this manner. Suppose this is a character array. So, character array means each memory location will contain 1 byte, that is 8 bits of memory. So, this first location, if this was 65586, so next value should be 65587 and not 65588 or 89 or 90 or anything. So, this will be only 1 byte added to the previous value, then 1 byte added to this previous value to get the next memory location as 65588, as you can understand. So, that depends, this index, this address depends upon the data type which we are going to store in this group of contiguous data elements or homogeneous contiguous data elements. So, the data type will govern the memory location in terms of bytes. So, if it is a integer array, then the numbering would have been like this. If it is a character array, the numbering would have been in this manner. If it was a float array, the number would have started from some number, some bytes, and then 4 bytes should be added to that previous value in order to get the memory address of the next cell. So, that depends upon the data type's maximum capacity of the data type. So, this is an overview of a one-dimensional array, and let us just go into a bit deep into this. Suppose I am just going to wipe it out and write something to show you the initialization, how the array initialization is done. So, suppose if we declare an array like this, int a5, and give a semicolon over here. So, we are not going to insert any elements beforehand in this array of 5 integer elements. We are not supplying any values beforehand, that is, we are not going to assign any values beforehand into this array beforehand. So, this array will contain some unassigned values, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 will contain some values which are unpredictable values, which are called garbage values. Garbage values are nothing but memory locations containing some value which are unpredictable in nature and which have no significance in terms of interpretation. So, these garbage values will be always there in the array if we do not declare or if we do not initialize the array in the first hand. So, if we initialize rather the array in the first instance, like if we pour some elements or put some elements into the array beforehand, we can get it declared in this fashion, int a5. Suppose you want to store 5 elements or 4 elements or 3 elements in this array, then we should have. So, this is the declaration if we want to initialize the array from the very first hand. So, suppose see if you want to insert some 5 elements, so 4 elements, so 3 elements, maximum of 5 elements we can take. So, we can take only a maximum of 5 elements. Suppose we are going to take a maximum of 5 elements inside this. So, we are going to declare in this fashion, int a5 is equal to, suppose 1, 3, 5, minus 7, minus 9. So, how many values are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, 5 integer values are now initialized in the array beforehand. So, this array from the beginning will contain these values 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this first value will be assigned to this 0th cell, the second value in this cell, this value in this cell, minus 7 here, minus 9 over here. So, the array will appear like this. So, the memory locations, contiguous memory locations will contain these values which are specified from the very beginning. So, this is the initialization of the array in this pattern. That means, we are not initializing any value beforehand and there are garbage values in the first hand. Then we can just assign some values later on in the runtime as the user runs the program from the standard input device, which is the keyboard. And if we supply these values beforehand while writing the code, so this will be put in the array in the compile time, not at the runtime. So, this will be a constant which will be always there in the array if we do not try to overwrite these values by any other values. But in this case, we can assign different values at different runtimes in order to overwrite the garbage value once and then the previous values in the next instance and so on. So, this is the initialization and declaration part of this one dimensional array. I have declared it in terms of I have made you understand in terms of integer. It can have float values as well, it can have double values as well, it can have character values, it can have values of any other data type. So, this is the concept of the one dimensional array. We will go into some illustrative programs regarding this array, but let me just first go into the theory portion of this arrays. So, in this video I am just going to discuss about this one dimensional array and not take this video further to the other dimensional arrays. We will discuss it in the upcoming videos. So, if you have any doubts or queries relating to that, you can well post your queries or comments in the comment section so that I can address those queries. Thanks.